We've got both those components turned blue and the test pins are green, indicating that everything is actually there for us to produce a printed circuit board from. So how do I do that? Well, I go up to the top here where it says transfer. Okay. Up to where it says transfer, I click on transfer and I do transfer to Altiboard. Altiboard, that's the name of National Instruments of PCB tool. And transfer to Altiboard, Altiboard 14.3. I don't want to transfer the file, and I click on it. It asks me what I want to call this file, and the default first PCB.unet is fine by me. I click save. And it opens up Altiboard. So you now see I've got two windows open. I've got this window, which is my original drawing window, and I've got this window, which is now Altiboard. There's a lot of information in there. Until you get a bit more advanced on these things, you don't even really need to read what's in there. You can just click OK. And there it is, a rather unassuming yellow square with some components dotted about, but I can see I've got 4 I/O pins, a capacitor and a resistor in there, and they've got footprints, which is good, which means I'm on target for what I wish to do. The yellow bit is the PCB, the area outside is not the PCB. Loads of options down the side, we're not going to play with those yet. And loads of options down the bottom, we're not going to play with those yet either. What we want to do is we want to lay this out on the board as best we can. So the first thing I'm going to try and drag is that resistor. Now this isn't easy, you need to practice at this. Click right in the middle and you'll see the whole device is now lit up. So if I just now left mouse and hold, I can drag it. Okay, so that's gone in there rather well. These are quite tricky, these little pins, and you may need to zoom in to get them. But what I want is I want a box around the whole thing. So that's gone, that's good. So now I can drag that. Do it for the next one. Click on it, drag. Just get them in the drawing area. Don't worry about right way up, wrong. Now you see, I don't want to drag that because that's not C1. That's the label to C1. I want the whole of C1. There I have it. Now I can drag. Just drag it into the drawing area. Again, not that, because that's just the J1 written on it. I want the whole thing. Drag in the drawing area, and that's just the pad. Click on it, get the whole thing, drag in the drawing area. Now, this is a bit messy, and you saw, well you can see on the board, the people viewing the video can't, but you can see on the board, I want it to look something like that, so I really want to drag these components about. So I can see, I think that that one there needs to come over here somewhere. This one here, it would be good if I rotated counterclockwise. So now I'm going to drag that over there. That's it, things are starting to look a little better. That to me looks like it's upside down, so that's orientation. Won't let me flip vertically, so let's go counterclockwise and then counterclockwise again. Okay, so that's starting to look promising. Pull that across. Now that's starting to roughly resemble the circuit I've got on the board. I'm going to drag this one across here. And which one am I going to do here? I'm going to do that one to there. That one to there. Okay, I'm starting to look like it did on the board. Now there's a few things I'm unhappy about. That R1 is upside down, so I click on the R1 and I want to flip that vertically. No I don't, because it's just reversed it, so I want to do that again. So I'm still upside down, but now I'm just going to use the rotate function. So counterclockwise, and one more time. Clockwise, and there's R1 above my resistor there. C1 I don't like that because it doesn't look neat enough, so I'm going to rotate that 90 degrees counterclockwise. And there's C1 on there. Okay. I think I can do a little better on that as far as neatness is concerned, because I want a nice compact printed circuit board, so I'm going to move that capacitor a bit nearer. I'm going to move these in a bit closer to try and get my real estate, as they call it, down, or the Americans call it, and bring that in there. And I'm going to bring this in here a little, and I'm going to bring this in here a little. Okay, good to go so far. Now you can play about with this until literally the cows come home, but my advice would be to get it as neat as you reasonably can, but don't spend forever on it, okay? I'm still dragging around because I don't like the alignment with some of these things. Okay, it's starting to look okay. Yeah, please.
Okay, I just want to show something quickly here. I'm going to zoom right in on this component. If I click this component, you can see the squares on the pad. I can't move it. I need to click on this bit, and now the squares around the whole component, and I can move it. Yeah?
He's just moved my component. Look, I had that in the right place. Outrageous. Right. So we've got something that looks similar to what it did on the board. That's our filter. Now, one of the things that we want to do here is we want to turn this into something that's real, because at the moment yellow means a rat's nest. It's just an English expression, and if you're in a rat's nest, it's a horrible mess dug underneath the ground. This is a rat's nest. The connections are there, but there's no physical connections. So the first thing that I can do there is I can auto-route it. Now that may sound silly because it's already routed, but I'll auto-route it, and I'll start doing the auto-routing. Now you notice it turned green. Why did it turn green? Well, green is actually the top layer. If you look down on the left-hand side there, it says copper top, copper bottom. Now, when I'm doing through-hole technology and I'm doing single layer, it's more normal to have the copper on the bottom. So what I want to do is I want to expand that down the bottom a bit so I can get at the things a bit easier. If I go down to copper, no, not that one. That's all right, I've got to remind myself though. Yeah, so copper layers, you'll see on the, if you click on down the bottom where it says copper layers, copper top is on, copper bottom is on. I want to turn copper top off. So I turn copper top off, I get a design rule check, so it's complaining now. Well, that's fine, so I just auto-route again. And you'll notice it's gone red. That now means the copper's on the bottom. That's what I want. Now, Mike, what's wrong with that circuit?
Those traces are way too thin.
Those traces are so thin that what's going to happen is if you try and make that, they're 5 thousandths of an inch wide. If we try and make a printed circuit board of that, they'll probably get eaten away by the edge or break when we try and solder them or whatever. So down here you've got trace width, and I know there's different ways you can do this, but trace width of net 1. If you look at the right hand side, you can see what net 1 is. It's just that little bit of copper there. I'm going to change that to 100. Yeah. Net 2 is that other funny shape going to the output. Look on the bottom right hand corner, you'll see that. I'm going to change that to 100. It's 100 thou. And this one, I'm going to change that to 100 as well. And look, I've got some nice thick copper wires on my printed circuit board there. Okay. And just to close this video, because it's going to take you a while to do that on your own, what I'm going to show you is a little trick. Under Tools, go to Tools, View 3D, and what you'll see on the 3D, I'll show you how to chop the board down in a minute, but you'll see actually, there's a printed circuit board. Look. 2 inputs, 2 outputs, and if we go to the copper bottom, you can see there's the copper and it's all soldered in nice, like that. We can do better than that, but let's just get you up to that point first. Okay?